Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today and she's here. Orchid Mantis. Yes. So this was a gift from friends. They kind of pulled together knowing I've been loving Zoologist and I was interested in this. And so they gave it to me. It is in my hot little hands. Doot doot. And we're trying it on today. I've not tried it. I just pulled it out of this. I'm like, don't worry. Don't wrap it up. You don't need to you don't need to do that. So there you go. Ta-da! Now I will say, I kind of miss the old, and I have it there. I kind of miss the old packaging. This, of course, is glorious if you haven't seen this. Kind of glorious. It's not coming out. Remember, my friends, you have to be smarter than the packaging. Yeah, there was this at the bottom. So I kind of miss the old packaging. I haven't said this in a while, but I really miss the old bottles. I really do. This is lovely. The packaging's always great, but I just want those old bottles back. It's so funny because there's like groups where you can join that talk about Zoologist, and the bottles are going, the old bottles, old school ones are going for a higher price. So that tells you there's a demand for it. Yeah. But these are the new ones. And they're in there pretty well. I know, it's old news, but part of me still wishes that maybe somehow they will come back, because I just feel like they just, I don't know. They were just so unique, and you could stack them up and display them. Like, I wouldn't display this just because it just looks like a lot of other perfume bottles I have, and it was just so niche and cool. But we're going to let it go. We're going to let it go. That's just my opinion, and I know other people love this. So there you go. But this is what she looks like. And that's another thing, because it's hard to see before everything was put in front and you got to move it around. But you can just display it this way instead. And I'll put to the side, probably this side, what it looks like up close. So this is going to cost you $200 USD. It looks like the prices recently went up from $175 to $200 USD, just so you know. So in the muggy shade of a tropical rainforest, an orchid sways seductively. Its glistening petals tremble in anticipation, inviting a passing butterfly to consummate the intimate act of pollination. Yeah, I was wondering where this was going. Yeah. Woo. Succumbing to the allure of the silken flower, the butterfly eagerly flits forward. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the rest of that because, my goodness. It's pollination, baby. It's pollination. So Zoologist Orchid Mantis entices you into a fragrant illusion. Juicy pear, exquisite rose, and dainty jasmine entwined with basil and lang lang to conjure the intense scent of orchids. So nice. Set against a humid rainforest, and this is kind of what I've heard about this one. So the top notes are bergamot, lemon, dewy green accord, pear, basil, and the heart notes are pink orchid, queen of the night, lang lang, jasmine absolute, rose absolute, base note, patchouli, vetiver, moss, sandalwood, musks. Oh, this sounds nice, and that's why I was excited about this one. I am really excited about this one. It's floral, but it just sounds kind of juicy, and I don't know what to expect. I hate that word, but here we are. I know, after reading that description of what happens with the flower and the butterfly, you know, all right. So, ooh, I do get a light whiff from this. Yeah, for sure. You could definitely get it. You can't with all of them, but what I'm going to do is, before in the past I would do 1 and 1, I'm going to change it a bit. I am going to do the 2 and 2, but it's really not fair because future ratings. Okay, we'll do the 1 and 1 because it's not fair. I kind of put Zoologist at disadvantage that way, but you know, the sprays are mighty though. Ooh. Oh. So I was scared because this is basically a blind buy, even if I didn't pay for it. She's lovely. Totally worth it. I was worried, what am I going to do if I don't like it? So the first scent that you get is like a spicy floral. It's just this beautiful, spiced floral. And my gosh, it's beautiful. Oh boy, so I'm getting that bergamot. I'm getting, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I know. It just smells pretty, darn it. That's what it smells like. Wow. So you're definitely getting that rose. At first it's just a blast of florals with a brightness and a spiciness cutting through briefly. It's not just florals. There's like a nice spiciness, which I liked. But it's floral, but yet it's bright and crisp at the same time. It's so pretty. It's that rose. I get that rose. I get the lang lang. I love lang lang. And sometimes it goes wrong with me depending on what other, like if there's musk of any kind with it. And I don't know. Like I said, I rattle off stuff. I don't know what I say. There are musks. Sometimes later on in the dry down for my chemistry, if you're like me, with lang lang, it can go to a very dark place, which is usually cat urine. So I'm hoping this doesn't go that way with the musk and the lang lang. But right now, it's rose. I get a little bit of that lang lang. The rose is the big player on my chemistry, with the brightness of bergamot and lemon. Oh, that's so nice. And something's grounding it. So it's not just a floral. Like I said, there's a brightness, a spiciness. I'm wondering if that's the basil. Oh, it's just so glorious. So yes, it's definitely a floral. It's definitely a floral perfume, but that is kind of in a lot of ways the main component. And I know some people are like, but it's perfect for this time of year if you think about it, spring and summer. But I'm getting more to it than just that. It's not like a sweet, overwhelming floral. Like sometimes florals can just be so sweet. And this one isn't sweet. You definitely get the florals, but they're allowed to kind of, introduce themselves without, alone, without all the sweetness, without being cloying. This isn't what this is. It's very floral, but without too much sweetness, if that makes sense. And then you have the crispness of the bergamot and the lemon coming through right now, but those are the top notes. So I don't know how long they're gonna last, but oh, it's so beautiful. It's just gorgeous. Let's try it on the clothing. Okay, on the shirt, it is less floral. That is interesting. So on the shirt, you have the floral, but it has a basil to it. So I think it's the basil that's really grounding it and making it have a little bit of that spice, a little bit of that vetiver. So what's happening is here, it's more floral, especially rose coming through in my chemistry, but on the shirt, not so much. I mean, it's definitely floral, but I feel like the other notes are coming through a little bit more, specifically that basil to really ground it. That's very interesting. It's very different than my own chemistry. Yeah, that's interesting. It's just this grounded like spiciness to it. And it could be one of the florals. I don't know Queen of the Night that well. I don't. I know orchids enough. And you do get a sense of that, but there's just a spicy note in there, which is just glorious. It just really, more floral here, less floral on the shirt. So I think it's smart, especially, and the thing is you can wear whatever you want, whatever. I always say that, wear what you want. But sometimes people see florals as being feminine. I think that note, the other notes, like the bergamot and the vetiver and the basil for sure grounds it to where it's not too floral. So this makes it a little bit more unisex if you want to classify things. But wow, this is nothing like I thought it would be. It's very wearable, extremely wearable, but it's not, at first it's a blast of florals, but then once it starts to settle, you still get that, but it's just, it's just, this is strange. It's humid. It really does kind of capture that humidity with the flowers, which kind of changes the scent a little bit. And the basil makes it earthy and spicy. Not that basil is spicy, but it does have a certain scent to it, a certain note that definitely would ground a floral, which this is doing. This is crazy. This is morphing so much. It's morphing so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in an hour, because I want to see where it settles, because it just keeps changing. This one changes a lot for me, and it's just this beautiful bubble of scent, and it's just glorious. And I can't keep saying it's glorious. I just can't. So what I'm going to do is let it settle for an hour so the notes kind of settle, and we will discuss it. Okay, so quick check-in. It's been an hour. This has settled a lot. And what I'm getting is just in general kind of like, this isn't like a floral. It's very much, you definitely get the florals. You definitely get that, but like I said, it's not overly sweet, and there's a greenness to it, which is probably from the green accord, and a dirtiness, which I will say is probably from the basil. So this one isn't just a floral scent. This is like kind of like a little bit of an experience, and I can see where you're getting the humidity of the greenhouse effect with it in this bubble, and it's still out here and quite nice, but it has almost like a soapiness to it. Like a soapy floral earthiness, green soapy floral dustiness. It's powdery. You get the powderiness. It's very interesting. But let's try it on the chemistry. Interesting. Here it's very like a soapy floral. Yeah, it's like you know, you go to wash your hands in a really nice like place, and they have a beautiful like soapy floral. That's kind of what I get from it. It's almost like that type of a thing in a really high-end place, but it's very soapy. It's soapy, floral, and powdery. And I definitely, when I move, get more of the rose. That's what I'm getting a lot of. A lot of the rose. Yeah, for some reason, it's definitely a different florals, but that's the one that I pull out the most. But let's try it on the clothing. Interesting. On the clothing, I'm definitely getting rose. That's what it's from. I'm really getting the rose coming through with green and a brightness to it, but I'm still getting that something very grounded, and I think that's like the basil in it, really kind of grounding it. I also, I know the pear was quick, but I think I'm getting a little bit of it on the shirt. It's clinging a little bit more than it was before. I never got that from the initial blast, but it's very interesting. There's a sense of a powderiness to it, which is very interesting. Very interesting, this one. It has morphed quite a bit from its initial blast, and I'm kind of getting a little bit of hummingbird from this, and I don't know how, because I'd have to look at both the notes, so maybe I'll do that and then before my last check-in, because something about it is giving me hummingbird, almost like a cross between nightingale and hummingbird. That's what I'm getting with this. It's like if they had a baby, this would be it. Yeah, so if you know those ones pretty well, just know this is somewhere in the middle, because there's a little bit of sweetness, which is the hummingbird, but a little bit of that rose from the nightingale, which kind of grounds it a bit. So it's basically very much in the middle. Yay, congratulations. So there you go. Yeah, nightingale, hummingbird had a baby. Here you go. So we'll check back in 4 hours, because I'm curious to see where this one goes. Okay, so it has been 5 hours total, and I can still get hints of Orchid Mantis around me. It's very light though. I do want to point out on clothing, I can definitely smell it more than on my skin. So I feel like this one around 3.5 hours or 4, you're going to have to spray it back on. I would say as far as Zoologist goes, this one tends to be in the middle of the longevity, kind of heading towards the bottom part. So if this is the middle, it's about here. I don't know, it kind of is like Harvest Mouse to me. You know, you have the big players like Bee and T-Rex and Sacred Scarab and Camel. Those are the big personalities that last a little bit longer. Well, this one, you know, here's your middle point. It's about over here. You know, it's right there for me, like with Harvest Mouse. Yeah, I had to get really in there to smell it. I could barely smell it on my skin at the 5-hour mark. What I get is the musk. Musk scents love me, and so I'm getting a little bit of that dirtiness of the musk. And I don't think it's like smelly dirty. There's a difference between a scent being a little bit dirty to ground it, and what I usually mean by that is it could be by soil, a soil accord or another accord of some sort like musk, to just give it a little bit of oomph and depth. My body loves that. So what's here is mostly greens, like a green accord with a slight bit of floral, and the musk is like, hey, I'm back, your best friend. So there you go. So it's definitely there, but it's really hard to smell. I mean, you really have to get in there to get that green light floral with that musk. But let's try it on the clothing. Okay, on the clothing it's still very much there. It's beautiful. So I definitely get the floral at first, a very light floral. At this point I can't tell exactly what floral it is. It's just a floral because they've all kind of melded together because it is losing that strength to it. But what's interesting is it has that green accord to it. So there's still that brightness to it, like from the citrus and the bergamot. It's still really lightly there on top of it. It's floating over the florals, but you get that floral scent with the green accord. There's just that beautiful greenness to it. And it is like a green accord. Is what, I don't think they call it that, but it smells and adds that like green stalks of something. It feels like you've gone into, you know, into a greenhouse and you're smelling everything in there, the different florals, the greenery, a little bit of that dirtiness of the soil. It's beautiful, but it is very light. What I will say is, even smelling it here, I get a little bit of hummingbird from it. I've lost the nightingale. Nightingale was there around the hour mark for me. I swear I could sense that. You know, I got that moss, I got the rose to it, and violet a little bit. Now I don't think this one is violet, but it was reminiscent with that rose and that scent. There was another kind of like bitter note coming through, which was probably the musk of nightingale as well, causing that with the rose. So I could smell that, and I'm like, okay, that's reminiscent of nightingale a little bit, but where it really went and is still going for me is very much hummingbird. But the difference is hummingbird is candy creamy florals, basically. There is nothing really to hummingbird that's dirty to it. I don't get any kind of dirtiness that I do with this. And again, I don't mean smelly dirty, I mean grounding. Like, so a grounding note to it that I can say is dirtying up that sweetness, if that makes sense. It's like if you go into a greenhouse, you smell a flower, but the soil's just been replenished, and you get that soil which dirties up that, and it makes it more interesting. So that's what I mean by that. But I'm definitely getting hummingbird a little bit from this. And maybe I blame it on my chemistry, but it's on my clothing. So I get that sweetness and that almost candiedness to it, though this doesn't have those same notes. I get that, but the difference is this has more greenery to it and that dirtiness that hummingbird doesn't. So this one, Orchid Mantis, is a little bit more grounded, more humid, while hummingbird is more, it's warm outside, but it's not humid. It's fresh, it's clean, you get a nice beautiful breeze, the humidity's down nothing, but it's still that crisp, warm day, but with the beautiful breeze that just cools it off, type of floaty floral, while this one's a little bit more grounded in itself. I think the best thing to do is, if you're new to Zoologist, if you're a collector, you're going to want them all, or if you really love florals and you love Zoologist, you may want them all. I'm not going to lie, I have all three. I have all three of the florals. because I love them. I just think they're beautiful. Nightingale, hummingbird, and this. Hummingbird I've been wearing quite a lot, so I'm very familiar with it. And I'm just getting hints of it from this. I really am. Even smelling that, I'm getting it. Hummingbird, they're cousins. They're there. So I would say get samples of all three and check them out and try them on your chemistry to see which one works best for you. I mean, with Zoologist in general, please always sample. Know that my chemistry is different than yours. The way my nose works is different than yours. That's what makes scent so much fun. So always sample them and see where it fits for you. But I will say, if you were doing a blind buy and you love florals and you love Zoologist, this would be on the safer side. This isn't one like T-Rex or civet, or sloth that's going to make people go, this isn't dodo. This isn't that. This is very safe. I would put this on the safe side. If you put it in 4 quadrants, not wearable, wearable, this one fits into that 4th quadrant. It's there. It is completely wearable. It's right up there with hummingbird. It's right up there with nightingale. It's right up there with cow. I consider those the safe scents. Even harvest mouse, to a degree, is very safe in a lot of ways. And I feel that this definitely fits in that category. So is this groundbreaking? No, I don't think this is the most groundbreaking scent, but I do think that it is really well composed. I think that it's a gorgeous floral and with unique properties to it. So it definitely has a place in the collection. Is it Olm? No, it's not Olm. That is one artistic, crazy piece, and I love it. But that one is either going to be you love it or you're like, and I'm like, it was a ride. But I loved Olm because of that. Olm is one of the art pieces of Zoologist. This is one of the pretty wearable scents of Zoologist, and there's a place for both. So if I were going to, let's give her another look. If I were going to give Orchid Mantis a rating or a score, I would give her about a 7.5. And here's why I'm not giving it higher. The only reason is the longevity is not the greatest. I can barely smell it on my skin. I can barely smell it on my skin around the 3-hour, 4-hour mark. So it's a little bit gentler than I'm used to. I think if I sprayed 4, it would probably last longer. And I don't mind reapplying, but some people do. I wished it lasted a little bit longer. I also feel because I have hummingbird, this one is pretty similar. Though it does have a different, that basil and that, it does change it. It is not nearly a dupe, but what I'm saying is that there are hints of it. I feel like, I don't know, I mean, but when you're playing a floral, some of them are all going to kind of smell similar. I don't know. I think it's fantastic. I love this one, but the longevity and the fact that I've been wearing hummingbird so much may have played into that a little bit. But yes, definitely a strong showing from Zoologist. It really is. And I think it's fair to say 7.5 or 8. I almost wouldn't be willing to go 8. I think that is a very strong showing. But I think being that Zoologist, it isn't necessarily the most mind-blowing like Olm, where you're like, what did I just sniff? And the longevity is a little bit, But it's a really solid score, and I'm really happy that I have this, and there are no regrets, and I'm going to wear the heck out of it. So I hope you enjoy it if you are interested. And let me know. I'm curious what other people think about this one compared to the other 2. Am I imagining things? I don't know, maybe. But with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye. Ooh, she's a beauty.